It's interesting how insecure Rodney Dangerfield is. I mean, he wrestled
most comedians are.
And he wrestled with depression pretty hardcore. I've heard that from multiple sources. Hey.
What, is that your Dangerfield?
Hey.
Boo.
Hey.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your twice-monthly podcast, temporarily delivering the juice on the Jomo. And I'm your host, Aaron, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, two men who settled, I believe indisputably, of which Herp the world prefers. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves and answer the question for you, personally. Is it Herp or Derp?
I'm Ryan, and I am Team Herp.
You're probably the only one.
I feel like it was not very popular.
No, there was some, I'd say
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Caleb. I am the creator of, actually, no.
Don't take credit.
No, the Ghost of the Iconic Moment created a poll about...
Twitter poll,
Herp versus Derp.
Good to know he is tweeting from the afterlife.
Well, yeah, it is very reassuring.
Yeah.
I voted. I think I voted Herp because I
really.
Well, I just
underdog.
Where my herpes at?
Not that at all.
Great.
Nope.
It's in my pants.
See, everybody wanted to go that way with it, but
of course,
I was, the Ghost was, God, it's hard to. The Ghost was trying to push for the herpetologists out there to participate.
Oh, okay. Did they?
I don't know. The Ghost was unable to see who voted. I don't.
That's a nice tie-in with Cobra.
Yes, exactly. Good. Yes.
Good. That's that was what we planned.
Yeah, I'm Caleb Herp.
I was firmly Team Derp, but and I was not surprised. The poll results were 78% Derp, 22% Herp. I think it's indisputable that you guys are minority here.
This is the kind of quality content you come to expect.
Hold up. 22% Herp, 78% Derp. 1 in 5 people.
Oh, no.
This poll is in alignment with all other national statistics, as far as I understand.
This is not a poll about herpes, Aaron.
Also, I think that is artificially low. I think many more people.
Yeah.
According to stuff I read.
There were a lot of Derp voters out there that got herps. Let's not kid ourselves.
There is no judgment.
According to my extensive research on herpes, for no other reason than information.
Welcome to the show, everybody. As you no doubt know, we're taking a brief break from Transformers. Currently, we've decided to cover the July 4th of movies. Oh, hell no. I'm not talking about Independence Day, and certainly not Independence Day Resurgence.
What about Born on the 4th of July?
Definitely not talking about that. No, we're talking about G.I. Joe, the movie from 1987, a movie whose special edition DVD comes with bottle rockets and Budweiser. And, at the very least, actually, speaking of special editions to this movie, they should have one that comes with a digital copy.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because, like we mentioned last episode, I can barely get it to play in my computer.
Most computers nowadays do not have DVD players. It is a pain in the ass to hook up an old computer with a DVD player. I'm not watching this from my living room. You gotta take notes. Yeah, it's a whole.
I have had to open the video folder and select all the video files, and then click open, and then maybe it'll play it, and the timing is all off. So
can you? Do you have? I mean, that's a dumb question. You have a Blu-ray player, right?
I do, but I've been trying to play it in the computer so I can do it's just easier.
Yeah, well, but you do all your work in your living room.
It's true.
Your living room is an office, for lack of
I have it. It's true, and I do have it on the. I put it on the TV sometimes, but I just like to listen in the headphones.
I know what you're doing. If I know you, and I'm not. This isn't a criticism. I know that you probably like to do your work watching the Joe on your laptop so that you can simultaneously watch other content on your television.
I do like to have background stuff.
Yeah.
Usually Angry Video Game Nerd, or I'm currently running through all of 30 Rock.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that show.
It helps Ryan's creative process if he's actually. I mean, I remember
He has to have distractions
Ryan-
to be creative.
like when back in like the early 2000s and late 1990s. I remember Ryan was one of the few people I knew that would actually had 2 television sets set up in his living room and
They were next to each other.
would watch 2 television shows like simultaneously, like Nixon style.
Well, I also had it that way so I could watch TV while I'm playing a video game.
Yeah, but I would come in sometimes and you were watching 2 different television shows.
So fucked up. Was one on mute?
You don't remember this?
I kind of do, but I think I remember more the video game piece of it, not the 2 shows.
One was probably
That's
lower.
infuriating.
Obviously, one was.
I'm on the next level, baby.
And obviously, one was for regular programming, and the other one was for.
Ryan is watching TV in the 4th dimension.
I'm playing 4D TV.
I like how you're trying to cover up the video games with the video games that you were obviously watching regular TV shows and pornography.
I do heavily consume pornographic films.
Would you
Pornographic
That's
films.
what
Would
I'm
you watch?
calling them.
Would you watch pornography while watching television?
That seems like you're trying to fly too close to the sun on wings of wax.
My next question would be: have you ever watched 2 porns
Now
simultaneously?
that
I have actually done that. I've done 2 windows.
So yeah, I think that's
That
common
seems-
practice.
Sure.
Oh, but on a
Really?
computer screen, not like
No,
not with 2
I
televisions.
do still have all my
That seems
beats.
Two cathode
that seems
rays.
distracting to me.
I do. I'm playing 4D cum.
Yeah, oh God.
I do still.
I opened this door.
I do
didn't
still have all my old DVDs and VHS porns. From
Wow.
They're down in the basement,
Where they belong.
locked away in the vault.
Vault by vault, he means in the corner of the
There's a
room.
filing cabinet.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been weeks since we've seen each other. It did not take long to get here.
Nope, it did not.
I know we talked a big game last episode about TFCon, but we must have been looking at pre-Columbian Mesoamerican calendars.
Not sure.
Because this is really the TFCon
You and
concurrent
Mike Seibert are
episode.
at TFCon right now.
Right now, okay, yeah. And maybe we're interviewing Ron Friedman, credited writer of Transformers and G.I. Joe the movie,
Amongst others.
amongst other things he's credited for.
I don't know if you want to go into it with an asterisk when you're interviewing him, like, you're the credited
I
writer.
kind of want to.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Caleb wants an in-depth interview with real new insights and emotions and,
Well, yes, of
and
course I do.
feeling. And, he doesn't want a boilerplate.
It's true.
You're Ron Friedman.
That was miming of sucking a dick. For our listeners.
I was taking my openish fist and moving
And
it
if I
towards
can-
my lips and away from my
If
lips.
I can judge by that technique, I do not want to be blown by you. It looked aggressive and not good.
I have complete confidence that right now, as people are listening to this, you guys are probably you are having probably one of the best Ron Friedman interviews that I've ever had.
God, I hope he
That's
asked if you
very
guys want to do
optimistic.
blow.
I want to do blow.
I would
with Ron
100% do
With
blow
Ron
with
Friedman, I'd be afraid he'd have a heart attack on sight. I mean,
He is old.
Hey, it's not my blow.
We'll
Anyway.
see. We'll
Anyway,
see how-
I'm
then we've
very-
got to, and then that becomes the
I'm
If
adventure.
that's
very-
Weekend at Bernie's 3.
I'm very interested to see what comes of this Ron Friedman interview. Obviously, I started the correspondence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very proud of that.
I haven't reached back out to him. I intend to this weekend.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys need to. I'm excited. I need to set my expectations low so that I'm pleased with whatever happens, and that's not on you guys.
Whatever happens will
That's
be
on-
great because
It will.
it'll be Ron Friedman.
Yeah.
I think I want to try and get one with Dilly too.
That would be
yeah.
amazing.
Cyber.
I mean, it's not going to be as good as my interview with him.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah. While you're interviewing Ron Friedman, can you have a vacuum cleaner going in the background, please?
Mike and I
We need
have
to
already
release
planned
that, by
for
the way.
jokes like that.
I really
If
think that we
let
should
me, if I
release
talk to
Ryan's-
Dilly, I will mention that we have a secretly recorded tape.
Let's not call it secret.
See how nervous he gets about it.
I
And
honestly don't think he would give a shit.
I don't think he would, because I don't think he would say anything
No,
weird
of
to a
course
stranger. But
What you can't hear is that he's got his hand in my pocket.
like the worst ever would be if we played back your tape and he said something like, Oh, God.
No.
You know what I really like?
No.
Butter in my ass and popsicles in my mouth.
Jesus.
So, TFCon is happening right now as we speak. If you're at TFCon, seek us out. Send a tweet or something. Get together. Let's bend an elbow.
It'll only be Aaron representing. Unfortunately, Caleb and I cannot make it.
Your third favorite member of the podcast will be there.
A member of the podcast will be there.
Let's not forget who else is going to be there with you. Mike Seibert.
We've been talking about that this whole time. So
I mentioned him.
I think it's inferred. And Mike and I will actually be working the interview together.
Yep.
And we probably shouldn't talk too much about it. In fact, we should edit all this out if it turns out I give you like a quick call, like, it's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
Ron Friedman is dead. We can't be placed in the same location as him.
We're dead to him. He said so.
If he actually listens to any of our work before we meet up, we will be dead to him.
Yeah,
I
don't feel like he's going to.
He seems like he can roll with the punches.
So, a quick shout out that I'd like to send out there. This is kind of an interesting one to an Instagram follower of ours. If he is on Twitter, I do not know it, but goes by the handle of J Luttig on Instagram. And the reason I want to shout him out is because a comment he made me laugh continuously over the last couple days here. I was doing a little thing on Twitter where I was posting comparison shots of Zeta and unique toys versions of the Combaticons, and I also intended to do that on Instagram, but I ended up just putting a couple up and kind of forgetting to put stuff up on Instagram. But I posted a nice overhead shot of all the characters in vehicle mode, and I just asked a question. I was like, Zeta versus unique toys, what's your favorite? And he replied, depends on if you like Pantsformers. Hurry up with the Yo Joe stuff so you guys can get back on the G1 train. So that made me chuckle.
Sure.
And I guess there's a couple people out there that would like us to wrap this shit up.
Wrap it up.
But, well, as of right now, we're 20 minutes into it. It's moving along. Maybe it feels like it's slow to people since we're only doing every 2 weeks.
Approximately.
Give us a break, man.
Don't give us a break. I thought it was funny.
I also feel like the Venn diagram of Transformers and G.I. Joe fans is pretty large. Like, there's a pretty good crossover.
He's on the sliver, on the outer edge.
Not to discount him, I understand. I much prefer Transformers, but I was not really a G.I. Joe fan, but this has been a fun dip into that pool.
Yeah. It has been fun. And I think it's getting more fun because this Cobra Law shit and seeing Falcon.
Just gets crazier.
Not to get too ahead of ourselves, but Falcon.
This fucking piece of work.
So, I bet listeners are really on the edge of their seat about how that 70s party turned out.
We talked about it last episode.
We talked about planning for it.
It hadn't happened yet. Yeah.
Now it's happened. And it was pretty normal.
We dressed up and we ate food. That's really about it.
But I gotta say, the Jell-O with the horseradish, and was there cucumber?
It was cucumber, pineapple, horseradish, and cilantro. God,
I wanted to like Jell-O. It in concept, but I'm sure it is good if your palate is ready for it.
It's not really standalone. Like you need to eat it. Like,
are we really talking about this right now?
It's good with meats, like grilled meats or the ham. It's good like in conjunction as like a sauce.
You should have brought some 70s grits. The listeners would have definitely loved to hear about that.
So you have sideburns.
We talk about. I'm trying to bring up grits in every episode.
I don't know why.
If I can.
You getting paid by the grit people?
Caleb.
Yes.
You just recently had a birthday.
I did.
How was it?
It was great.
How old are you?
I am 41.
I have a macabre, if not fun, little trivia game to play with you here.
Is this my birthday gift?
Well, here's what we're gonna do. Okay. Would you like to know what your birthday gift is? I don't have it here. I'll maybe have it in the next few weeks. Would you like to know what it is?
I mean,
right now, at this very minute.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you're playing for then.
Okay, because
if you win this game that we're about to play, I will tell you what and show you what your birthday present will be. If you don't win, I'm not going to fucking tell you.
Okay.
Now, if you'd have said I don't want to know, then the prize, if you'd have lost, I would have forced you to find out what your birthday present is.
What do you mean force me to find out? Like, how would you force me?
I would have said, this is what I got you, fucker.
All right.
Surprise ruin.
So I should have said no.
It doesn't matter. There was no right or wrong answer.
Right. I want to play the game.
Okay. listener, if you haven't picked up on it, we at the APDC are somewhat inappropriately obsessed with the concept of death. And as the clock tick-tocks down on our own heart bombs, with nary a cuttable blue wire in sight, I would like to play a little game I've invented called Lawdy Lawdy, Look Who Didn't Make It Past 40. Caleb, this is a celebration of the people that you have proven yourself to be better than, if only because you've made it past 40.
Okay.
We are playing for the knowledge of what your birthday present is, which is not here, but will be here.
Mine also
weeks.
is in transit.
I'm fine with that because I would say usually 75 to 80% of the time, Aaron's gifts are always late.
That's
However,
they're worth waiting
for. The payoff is always outstanding.
Good. I'm glad you said that.
Ryan's gifts are always.
It's hit and miss.
Here's an old cheeseburger.
Was last year the one where we gave you the Voyager disc?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was a
Yeah, it
great
was a good
gift.
one.
That was a
God damn.
combined gift.
It was.
Although
It was a great
Ryan
gift.
did all the work.
It was a great gift.
Just like at our
This one's
parties
not
of
as good.
food.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. I've got five trivia questions.
So I got to guess the
you
person.
you have to get 3 of 5 right. Each question's set up a little bit differently.
So I only have to get 3 of 5.
You have to get 3 of 5. Are you
All
ready?
right.
It's like the Borg.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 7 of 9.
I know, but it depends on the crew.
Okay.
Sorry.
We don't have to interject a stupid reference into everything.
Well, why you even have me on the show?
Okay, I'm ready.
This 1960s comedic counterculture icon was famous for injecting
Lenny Bruce.
satire laced with vulgarity on
Lenny
comedy
Bruce.
albums such as The Sick Humor of Lenny Bruce, and Lenny Bruce Carnegie Hall
Lenny
concert.
Bruce.
Caleb, who is this?
Lenny Bruce.
Very good. He's doing great.
I would have said Harpo Marx.
I said it when you said. Let's do this.
He
I wanna
died
know
He
the-
worked
Age
on this.
40.
Let him get the question.
Okay, fine.
No, I know you're fine. You're fine. Let me ask you this: do you know how he died?
Yeah, drug overdose.
Like everybody in the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
He died in 1966.
Oh. Well, he was
In
ahead
your
of the curve.
fucking way. You must have read a book or watched a documentary or something.
Fucking rock star, dude.
All right. This swinging band leader was certainly not in the mood for his plane to disappear over the English Channel, never to be seen again.
Oh, wow. You know, I should know this, but I
Probably should.
Obviously, I don't
hold
know
on.
the answer.
All right, Duke Ellington.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The answer is Glenn Miller.
No shit. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Interesting fact.
And I like Glenn
They
Miller.
never found the plane or
Your
him
clue
or anything?
was in the mood.
I know, but unfortunately, as much as I
That's
should
okay.
know, as I
Get
should
into
know,
some of your old swing.
I should know that. I did not know that.
Jazz swing. True or false? The Baltimore Ravens are named after the poetic creation of never more than 40-year-old Edgar Allan Poe.
False.
Sorry. The answer is true.
Really?
Poe spent a lot of time in Baltimore. He ultimately died in Baltimore. When
sad death.
originally unveiled, the Ravens actually had 3 mascots that were costumed: Edgar, Allan, and Poe. And after the 2009 season, Edgar and Allan were retired, and Poe is to this day the sole mascot of the Baltimore Ravens.
Fascinating.
I wish more teams had like 19th century.
Like that crossover, like that. Yeah, I mean, one of my chickens actually I named Lenore after a Poe poem.
Well,
Yep.
Are you going to start watching football now?
Absolutely not.
Kayla,
All right, so
you need
for
to
the
get the next 2.
For the record, yeah,
You are 1 and 3.
Okay.
I believe in you. This Saxy contemporary of Dizzy Gillespie, Miles Davis, and Thelonious Monk is supremely loved by jazz fans worldwide.
It's on the tip of my tongue. John Coltrane.
That's right. Congratulations. Yes! All right, it's down to this one.
It's a barn burner.
Jesus.
Help! This famous pop avant-garde singer-songwriter was caught awry when he was murdered outside his apartment in 1982.
Oh, thank God. John Lennon.
Outside of the Dakota.
Oh, God, I'm so relieved that one was easy.
You did it, yeah.
I saw the Dakota whenever I was in New York.
Oh, did
Not
you?
because of John Lennon, but because it's the apartment that Rosemary Woodhouse lives in Rosemary's Baby.
Of course it wouldn't have anything to do
So,
with John
I get
Lennon.
to see what I'm getting for my birthday.
Okay, close your eyes. I'm
All
going
right,
to bring it up
I'll
here
close
on the
my eyes.
screen
They're closed.
here.
I'm not going to tell you what I got you, so that can be disappointing. when you open a present and there you repeat what it is, like, oh, it's a blank. That's always a bad sign.
Yeah.
Okay, you can open your eyes. You have won the knowledge of your birthday present, which is
Wow.
a brand new Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Shockwave
He looks-
leader class.
He looks magnificent.
Yeah, I should have probably looked up some copy
Does
on
he-
it so I could read it in a game show-esque fashion.
Looks like he can change from him normal self to like an enhanced version of himself.
Correct. There are lots of parts that you can put on him to like make him have multiple arms, and he turns
got a
into
hoverboard.
sort of a spaceship. And also, I think he does have a secret gun mode that they don't talk
Ooh.
about.
I'm excited because I moved into a new office and I have a lot of extra desk space now. So I'm planning on taking this.
Oh, you could have him as a desk bot.
Yeah, I have the other Shockwave you've got me, and then that Optimus that you got me, and I plan on kind of putting them up on my desk. That's great.
There you go. Happy birthday.
Thank you. That's amazing. Wow, thank you so very much.
All right, maybe we should get into the show.
Ryan, looking forward to seeing what you got me.
In regard to our game show we just played, I was going to write up a piece on Paul Walker, but it was running off the road, so I killed it.
Jesus Christ.
Uh,
Jesus Christ.
And let's wrap this up. Here's a little preview, Caleb, of who you will be playing against next year. King Richard the Lionheart died in battle at age 41.
Good way to go.
Jane Austen died at 41. And Alan Turing, the father of modern computing, died at age 41. Can you beat them?
if I'm still alive.
I've been thinking about this birthday because this is my life, the universe, and everything birthday. I'll be 42 in October.
That's right. Exciting. We should have a. You want to have a themed birthday?
Douglas Adams theme?
Yeah.
I don't know because it's we always do Halloween, but
You can be Dirk Gently.
West is wanting to run a half marathon in Kansas City the weekend before, so I will probably run that with her if she decides to for sure do it. But yeah, so it'll put the party after Halloween, like the 2nd of November, which is always a bummer. But
Yeah.
People will still dress up for the 2nd of November.
all right.
Okay, last episode recap. The Joes show little respect for Rap City as they carelessly, and I might even accuse them of drunkenly, guard the BET. I don't care if we have to drive all night. We're going to be there by morning.
Flawless.
Cobra also flips the channel on the Wendy Williams show, despite being directed to destroy everything except the BET. Hundreds of lasers and explosions whiz right by Earth's energy savior.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, Serpentor is captured. Cobra retweets.
Retweet with comment.
Cobra retweets into the Himalayan mountains. Joes give chase, and the whole crew is attacked by some insane-looking, waspy, reptile, hybrid army, I guess. Captures everybody. It's hard to know what's going on with them. Are they an army? Are they just sort of secret civilization?
I
They got guns. They're
have
trained.
They're
All
an
right.
army.
We end with new friend Pythona offering the Dreadnoughts a giant pink quartz to go
It's a
rescue.
big piece of quartz.
So let's get into
We
our...
never see that quartz ever again.
Nope, never comes back. I do have a bit of house cleaning. Just I found out that roadblock does tend to rhyme.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
We mentioned that last.
Did
episode.
we should have done the research. Does Blaster always rhyme? Does it tend to rhyme or always rhyme?
Not always.
Like Wheelie always rhymes.
Yes. No, it's
Okay.
just occasional.
I would like
Okay.
to see a rap battle between Blaster and Roadblock.
I mean, I want to just see a friendship between Blaster
Oh,
and
I'm sure
Roadblock.
it's all in good fun. Yeah.
it's
It's kind of like dissing each other.
not a to the death battle.
It's like 8 mile competition.
Well, I think they can be friends and rap battle each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Get that done.
You do that.
You
Draw
do it.
something.
I was pleased with the amount of traction that my Cobra Commander drawing of him playing poker
That's
got.
great.
That background I actually took out of one of my 70s interior design books.
Interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. Nice concept.
Yep.
Wonder who came up with that.
All of us is collectively.
Me?
Let's listen back to the tape.
Oh.
So we open up this episode on what I believe could be classified as a headquarters command center. We've got a handful of these Conquest X-30s, which, by the way, is an apple they're going
Nice.
to take several bites out of,
Mm.
flying towards the screen at us, at the camera. And we find ourselves in a room with Duke, General Hawk, Flint, Lifeline, and I think Frostbite is the other character character in the room here.
I never noticed, but behind Duke in what's
The missiles?
It's a framed image on the wall of just a bunch of missiles.
It's a weird thing for General Hawk to just have that as art.
It seems like
Makes
good
sense.
military art.
Makes
Yes.
sense.
So Duke at this point is hot pissed over the fact that Roadblock's whole unit is missing.
He uses the term "fang gang."
I was gonna get to that, and I was gonna say, Ryan, I was gonna leave it to you to bring in an interpretation of that. So Duke is pissed. Hawk is pretty calm. He's kind of like chill, bro. The Joes are gonna be all right. But Duke's concerns run a little bit deeper in that he's expecting Cobra to attack, seeing as how at this base here they've got Serpentor in addition to the BET. Flint offers to get a search party together, go collect Roadblock. I guess my argument would be, why did they leave the Himalayas without getting their people to begin with?
Excellent question.
Yeah.
They had to get the BET out of there.
I guess so. That's a priority over the human capital that is.
I will probably bring this up later, but why do you have to go do this in the Himalayas? You know how far away that is? It's on the other side of the planet. It's not that easy to put together a team to fly.
I mean, if you're looking for a cold weather environment, Canada's very friendly.
Yeah, probably double-digit hours.
The Rockies are also probably a good choice. I don't know.
But why not there on a very secure Joe base?
Just,
unless cold has something, it has to be constructed cold, which is Transformers
in
language.
this world, apparently, the Himalayas are very close, and it seems like the Chinese government is cool with American special forces being on their turf over and over.
At this
or
time,
it's very secretive.
Yeah. I mean, technically in the movie they don't say it's the Himalayas. I only know that from reading the script, but it's pretty clearly not America.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
they never do say the Himalayas in the movie?
No.
Oh, okay.
But the script says it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think everywhere I've read, it references the Himalayas. But
gotcha.
Hawk gives the okay to get a group together and a little rescue mission. We get a room full of Yo-Joes, and the crew runs off to the action. And Duke at this point...
He just cocked
his pistol, yeah, Flint.
That doesn't seem like a thing you should do.
It is also the
in
most
your commander's office.
Complicated-looking pistol I have ever seen. There are ins and outs and tunnels and like little
I don't know.
things
I just saw him just cock his gun because I'm just waiting. That thing's gonna be
loaded.
Oh yeah, he's ready to go, and he's
running
running down the hallway.
Yeah, okay.
I hope it doesn't fall out of his pocket.
That's just concerning to me.
Well, we know he has a daughter, so I guess he didn't shoot off his dick.
You mean Morgan Fairchild?
Yes, as Casey Kasem chastised this last episode. It was what is it?
Melissa
Fairmore, not Morgan Fairchild.
Casey Kasem, Marissa, not Melissa. If you don't agree, go fuck yourself.
Everything was wrong.
A Falcon
about
crest fame.
So they're running down the hall, Yo-Jo.
So Duke at this point, he lets General Hawk know that he has accelerated the training of some new recruits so that they can be ready to fight in the event of some sort of Cobra attack.
I do like that. They're like, we're really rushing in their training.
I know. And Hawk seems to think that that's a glass half full statement, referring to the fact that Beachhead is a fucking asshole, and so it's
he doesn't seem like the right guy for the job.
Which is interesting because in the books, Beachhead is very calm, cool, and collected. Like he's like a polar opposite in the show.
Yeah, so we get to the training yard here, and to your point, Beachhead is basically kind of an even more countrified R. Lee Ermey character.
He's out of his mind.
Very irritable. So we're introduced at this point to the aforementioned Rawhides. So we've got 5 people here. We've got undercover intelligence agent Chuckles, explosives disposal Tunnel Rat. We got a character named Big Lob, whose specialty is unknown, and also he had no toy or comic book counterpart until 2010.
Racist.
I would say that, except there are black G.I. Joe characters, but
yeah.
Anyway,
it's true.
Ninja intelligence and finance clerk, according to her bio, Jinx. Interesting combination.
Finance clerk.
So she does the taxes.
So she's good at math.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I know. That's not good.
And then the final character, and actually 2 characters, so we're talking 6 instead of 5. Law and Order, who K9 military police.
I had those characters.
And he's Hispanic.
Law and Order is? Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, he's based on Cheech Marin.
He is Latin. Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well,
That's what Buzz Dixon says.
Did
it
you
makes
know that,
sense after you hear how he kind of jokes around a little bit, but as Beachhead is laying into these people, Law actually gets credit for proper conduct right off the bat.
Well, because he's a military cop. He's an MP.
Well, but he's the only one that gets credit from Beachhead for conducting himself in a proper way.
I think
Which
it's
everybody is kind of conducting themselves in a fight. They all are standing
I think
up
it's just
straight.
because he's an MP.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
He's not wearing a goddamn basketball jersey.
Or a fucking Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, and also speaking of being inspired by, I think we all know that, and everybody knows that Tunnel Rat is based on Larry Hama, who is the writer and artist for a lot of the G.I. Joe books.
I read somewhere that it was pretty standard practice as they were designing toys to base them on just people in the office.
Yeah,
plays.
a lot of people got based on Joe's.
Do we ever see Beachhead without his... are those
Balaclava?
called yeah, I was going to say baklava, but I Beachhead just loves that crispy Mediterranean treat.
Oh, my mask is so good.
I think he showers with that thing on.
If he takes it off, it's just that part of his face floating there.
I thought he takes it off. There's just another one.
That's what I was going to say.
So
or it's like a tiger. Whenever you shave a tiger, the skin is actually striped.
Ooh.
I think that might
So
not
his
be true.
skin is baklava?
Yeah, he's got green striped skin.
Beachhead, at this point, challenges Lob and Tunnel Rat to cross an obstacle course and ring a bell. He sets them on their way, but it turns out this course is wired with live
ordnance
and seemingly powerful IEDs under Beachhead's control. He's trying to murder them.
Yeah, he is.
And
I have that in my notes. He clearly wants to kill all these recruits.
Unlike Sergeant Slaughter, who's just trying to test their limits, I think Beachhead's just trying to really set them up to fail.
I have that in my notes too.
Yeah. So Tunnel Rat, he goes off first here, we see, and he kind of circumvents the course by using a tunnel. and Big Lob, though, he prefers more direct athleticism, so he jukes and jives and climbs and swims to his destination, all while narrating the action about himself in third person, in the patois of a sports commentator. And each Rawhide ends up taking out a turret and ringing the bell and infuriating Beachhead.
Yeah, that's the weirdest,
for some reason.
He's
the
so
weirdest
mad.
Part.
Yeah, he's so mad that they have the skills it takes to complete the course.
They did a good job, showed teamwork, creative problem solving, and he is pissed.
Yeah, I don't get it. And maybe I guess I see how he could be a little pissed at Tunnel Rat, but not really. But certainly, Big Lob here completed the course in the fashion it's supposed to be.
That's right.
So...
that ain't the only thing going bananas.
That was pretty good.
That was.
We need to bring Beachhead onto the show.
Beachhead's gonna be
electrified razor wire under the water.
Yes.
I mean, he is doing this the way he's supposed to. The only thing that you could maybe argue was off course is he does a 3-pointer into the hole of the gun turret here and blows it up. I don't know if they just weren't supposed to blow it up or just take shots.
The rules seem pretty loosey-goosey.
Yeah, really. Yeah, they don't really give you any direction. They just say go over there and ring that bell. We go on to our next sequence here, the next Rawhide challenge, and
This one, okay.
Go ahead, what?
No, this one is like... Law says he finds the bombs, I drive the car. We tried it the other way, but it didn't work, which I thought was a really solid joke.
It is. I think so, yeah. So to expand on that, we're in a jungle village. The challenge is there's a time bomb somewhere, and Law's got to get rid of it. And he's like, no problem. He whistles, and this giant gray German shepherd, who we know is Order, appears, and he happens to be a bomb disposal dog. And Beachhead is pissy about this right from the jump.
Just like, don't you know what his specialty is?
Right, yeah. And
secondly, how is Law supposed to find that bomb?
Well, right. I would think that you would use a specially trained animal to do this in any circumstance.
All of these tests are dangerous and permanent. permanent.
So, Order finds the bomb. He brings it back. Beachhead is panicking. He wrestles the bomb from Order and tosses it. But Order, this is a part that I guess I understand Beachhead's his attitude being a little grumpy. But Order catches it in midair, frisbee style, brings it back. Beachhead is struggling to get the bomb out of his mouth again as the final seconds count down. Law manages to, it's his dog. He's obedient to him. He drops the bomb for him. He chucks it, explodes maybe 10, 20 feet over their head. And Beachhead again is pissed.
There's no reason that needed to be a live bomb.
No, actually, it should not have been a live bomb.
Right.
Just you got a dog? Well, that's unfortunate. I hid it under a towel in a fucking shanty. I thought you'd find it in a minute and 28 seconds.
That version of Beachhead wasn't as good.
It was more like Mr. T.
I don't know what you were doing there.
I did not prepare. I got to prepare to do the voices, and that was off the cuff.
The dog is really well drawn and animated, and I'm wondering if it was rotoscoped.
Yeah.
Oh, you had the same
I wondered
thought.
that too.
I bet it was. In fact, I think a lot of this movie might have been rotoscoped.
I think
it is very smooth.
that throw that Beachhead does, that looks rotoscoped.
Yeah.
For our listeners who don't know, rotoscoping is whenever you have live actors perform an action and then you animate the cell over top of that action so it looks more like realistic movement.
I was going to give the listener the opportunity to Google it for them fucking selves.
Well, I don't want people to have to do their homework.
We've mentioned rotoscoping before.
I'm just kidding. We move to our next challenge, our next Rawhide challenge, and we've got Beachhead and
they just get
Chuckles,
crazier.
and they're hanging with a Havoc. Among this Havoc is a field of, I guess, remotely controlled hiss vehicles. And the assignment is to target the hiss before it shoots him. And
this is the only one where I'm like, what the fuck?
This is the only one?
Well,
yeah, it's pretty outrageous.
I mean, Chuckles' problem solving is very suspect.
He is not the problem solver that Big Lob and Tunnel Rat are.
I will say, as Chuckles comes up a little bit more in this movie, I am very intrigued by this guy.
Oh, really? I don't know enough about him yet.
He's silent.
He never says anything.
Right.
And the things he does is
doesn't feel very Joe-worthy.
They're amazing. They're outrageous. I kind of think he's my favorite character.
Well, let's get into this.
Okay.
So Chuckle misses his opportunity to target the hiss. He panics, flips open the cockpit, which flips Beachhead over. He grabs a rocket.
I don't think he panics. It looks like he gets pissed off.
Yeah, maybe
it's just like, fuck it.
He's like, I gotta do what I gotta do. He runs to the side of the Havoc, grabs a missile, runs forward to the hiss, and just chucks it at the hiss, blowing it up.
Conservatively, that missile weighs 500 pounds.
Well, he is a stocky fella. I don't know if anybody that stocky should be able to chuck a bomb 30 feet or however far that was. But mission accomplished. Beachhead, of course, yells at him.
He wears
I don't know.
Why is he called Chuckles? He wears a kind of
he's in like
a Bermuda shirt.
I think I have this later in Buzz Dixon, but he's based on basically a Miami Vice character.
He's an undercover intelligence agent.
All right.
Next scene here. Next challenge, I guess. We see Jinx in a dojo. She's practicing some kicks here, which also feels rotoscoped.
It does, but I love the way it's animated, like the fast dynamic action, especially on her kick. It's really good.
They do a great job. It doesn't feel kind of cheap in the way that similar Transformers the movie animations felt
I
cheap.
have no idea what you mean.
And so Beachhead shows up and he gives her the business because she's not training with Falcon. And she surmises it's because Falcon is scared to fight her. But Beachhead says maybe it's because she is one bad luck lady.
We all got a Beachhead.
And it's a fun one. She does a lot of awkward winking.
She does. And if you notice, I didn't mention, I think I wrote this in my other notes, but Law winks a lot too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does some winking. I'm like, what is happening? But
maybe they've had strokes.
There's also this part where Jinx is talking to him, and he says, "Don't call me sir." And
why not?
Well, he's not an officer.
Oh, is that right?
Which I actually did a dive on this because that's a sergeant's joke, like a drill sergeant. I'm no officer. I work for a living. That's like that joke. But in the U.S. Air Force, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, sir or ma'am is used for a drill sergeant. But in the Army, it's drill sergeant. And
Yeah.
like
in the Marines, it's drill instructor.
Yeah, drill instructor is also, that's what, yeah. It's the second lieutenant is the first officer class.
Okay.
Before that, you don't get one.
I just
So
think at this
basically,
point-
so he's not even qualified to be training them.
No, that sergeants do the training.
Okay, all right.
I
That's
just,
what they...
I just think he's so irritated at this point that no one's died that he's like, this is the last chance I have to kill somebody.
Yeah.
As a recruit.
There's more on the. I was fast. I went down a deep dive of the officer rankings on G.I. Joe. So there's more on that later, which is really bizarre and interesting, and I didn't understand until I watched it this last time.
Cool. Well, so she challenges Beachhead to spar at this point, and he yells at her for closing her eyes before the battle. They fight. He kind of kicks her ass a little bit, tells her she's not going to make it as part of the Joe program. And then she puts on a blindfold, explains that her ninja master was blind, and then she fucks Beachhead up.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
This is also another.
Of course it does.
This is another trope, actually. The blind weapons master. It's a sub-trope of the handicapped badass. And I remember the one that sticks out in my mind of this kind of thing is, Aaron, you might remember this, the Rutger Hauer movie Blind Fury, where he plays a blind ninja.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do remember that well. And I think there's also is maybe somewhat related to another trope, like the drunken master.
Yeah, that's another. It's in there. Yeah.
Or like the old man master, like the badass old man sort of thing.
There's a handicapped involved.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Of some sort. But just because you have a blind master.
I know. It's chaos. Like how...
You would think that
we
she
can't
would-
litigate like how ridiculous it is, but
I would argue if I was in her position, don't wait to pull that ace in the hole out after you've got your ass kicked. Just go around blind all the time, kicking ass.
Yeah, I mean, she could have just closed her eyes at any point in time and fucked him
why
up.
does her hood even have eye holes?
It's true. She should wear it backwards.
The irony.
How much harder is that to
The
look?
irony of that fight that we just saw was that the only thing that Beach has exposed on his head is his eyes.
Right.
And then she's
Levels.
covering up her eyes.
Mm-hmm. Wow, this is getting deep.
She should have told him to turn his mask around. Learn a thing or two.
Should have fucked him up even more in the land of the blind. Or so they say.
The land of the blind. Interesting.
So we at this point cut to Lieutenant Falcon.
This fucking nozzle.
He is out with some very nice petite young Southern blonde.
And I'm just real quick. I just gotta say, this is the third generic brown-haired white dude in a hat that we're seeing, and I start to get them kind of confused.
Yeah, between him and Flint
And
General
Hawk.
Hawk. Yeah, the part later, I definitely confused him, Falcon, and Flint at a certain point.
It doesn't help they both wear berets.
Right, yeah. They mix it up a little bit genetically, character
crazy.
designers. So he's hanging out with the young lady, and she is just all of vapors at the fact
My lord.
that she is within spitting distance of Serpentor. Now, because we've watched the movie, know she's a spy, but shouldn't the very fact that she knows who Serpentor is be a tip off?
Based on the security at this place,
Well, or the guy running security.
My
at this
thought
place.
is that Flint or Falcon picked her up in a bar and told her all this stuff.
I'm thinking,
I can see that. Like, she was positioning herself because she knows that he's a weak link.
Mm.
He
He's-
makes his move, everything. Oh my! I'd love to see
Such
your
a
face.
strong man.
Who? Serpentor?
Oh,
It sounds interesting.
is he a human in a reptile costume,
Or is that
Is that
reptile
even a
his head? Is that part of his head?
I don't understand why there's fingernails on his gloves.
Where do those snakes come from?
Are they robots?
Are they robots or real snakes?
Is it breaking the spines when it turns them into spears?
She just leads him into an existential crisis.
We mentioned on Twitter this, I guess Lieutenant Falcon is supposed to be the Hot Rod analog in this movie.
I hate him way more than I ever hated Hot Rod.
He's much worse than Hot Rod. Hot Rod does some stuff like warning people that the Decepticons are attacking.
Right.
Whereas Falcon is the opposite. He's the problem.
Hot Rod is impetuous. And maybe doesn't think before he acts. This guy doesn't think
and just acts.
So so we know she's a spy at this point. Spoilers, but at this point he's showing her around the office.
Mm-hmm.
And I only say it because I was looking around to see if there was any little tips of her touching her earrings or something like that. But I didn't really see any. Well, maybe right there it looks like she's got something going on. It's hard to see her actual spy work, but. He tosses in some smooth lines while accessing the chamber. He spins her around for a little grope. And also, he's a new recruit. Why does he have access to all this to begin with?
Well, and why is
he hasn't even gone through the training.
Right. Why is he the only... we know why, because movie, but why... But on the other hand, is there no one else guarding Serpentor? Is there no one else guarding the base?
Yeah. We'll find out in the next minute. A little bit more about that. But,
right, yeah, this is the first intro into the place where Serpentor's being guarded, but then Flint, damn it. It doesn't help they're both F names either.
Right.
Falcon pulls off this stupid thing
trick
he's
shot.
about to do.
Yeah, he pulls out a pistol, does a little trick shot, 4 walls and through some tech manuals, which he does not like tech manuals, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
More on that later.
We'll see that soon.
And this all just feels very irresponsible, but she begs for more. And he pops another one over to his shoulder that whizzes by none other than Duke. He is busted.
He's shooting his gun inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
and he must have practiced this, I can only assume, because if not, that was even more irresponsible.
Who knows how many tech manuals have fallen at the hands of Lieutenant Falcon. He almost murders Duke, and we'll call it manslaughter. Duke goes off on him. He takes his date's camera for the idiotic decisions. He calls on Jinx, and he's like, get this woman out of here.
Well, this is just a little comment on the camera, because I didn't recognize that film, because the film looks like a black CD, basically. And it's disc film, which was a thing that Kodak introduced in 1982.
Yeah.
It had 15 pictures on it, 10 by 8 millimeter exposures, was unsuccessful because of the combination of being high grain and poor definition.
We had one.
Did you?
Yeah. I'm going to get you with the Kodak Disc.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to get you. I'm not going to miss. I'm going to get you
Sounds
with
psychotic.
the Kodak Disc. I'm going to get you with the Kodak Disc.
What was the benefit they claimed it had?
It was a thin camera. It was small and compact.
All right.
My mom had one for a while.
It was discontinued on New Year's Eve, 1999.
The discs look like what are those things called?
The kinescope or
no, the toy, the 3D viewfinder.
Yes,
yeah, they look like a viewfinder disc.
I love a grain effect on film. You find in many of my works that I will apply that filter.
It's great if you have a high definition with flip file to work from.
Right. I don't know what kind of resolution we're dealing with. The Kodak disc.
I just told you.
I'm gonna get you
did it say the resolution?
It didn't say the resolution, but it was 10 by 8 millimeter exposure, so it's pretty shitty.
Right.
But I did, just a tangent real quick.
So as a spy, she's using the worst equipment possible.
Well,
she'd be better off.
It's a decoy camera, as we'll see soon.
Oh, that is true.
But this led me to the Minolta Disc 7, which was introduced in 1983, which had a convex mirror over the lens, and that was the first aid to taking a selfie.
Interesting.
They started that trend.
That's all my camera talk.
And this was the Autopod Decepticast camera moment.
Wow.
I look good. So Jinx walks the blonde back to her convertible. The most awkward conversation that has ever happened takes place. The blonde goes on about Falcon's hunkiness. But I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. She's a little drunk at this point.
Sure.
I mean, they were at the bar. And Jinx is like, as a matter of fact, I did have a kind of date with Falcon, but he's not going to have much time for socializing with either of us from here on. I just found that to be a weird line. Why did she have to bring that? Like, is she trying to?
They're
like,
having
show
two
off
different
a little
conversations.
bit?
Almost.
Like I went on a date with him too, and it wasn't successful. So really, I'm just making myself like a loser just for bringing it up.
I will say, well, I think she was referring to sparring with him.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Not an actual date.
Okay.
Even
I
though-
took it to mean that maybe he had flirted with her with some success.
Well, we'll see him do it
so-
with none later.
Well, even that, I mean, as terrible as that scene is, which everybody probably knows what we're referring to, but I'm not going to go into detail in
we'll
it
get there.
at this moment. I feel like there's like I mean, she's irritated at him and doesn't like it, but I feel like they have a history that at one point she was into him.
Falcon's probably just like attempted to bang everybody. So,
Okay. Well, anyway.
but it irritates me in every close-up that the animation, they have this weird extra line under their nose, and that's probably just a me thing that bothers me as an artist, but I'm like, that little thing,
Oh, I don't mind that line.
it's on every character, and it bugs the shit out of me.
It's just a little definition. They don't need it, but it doesn't bug me. I kind of like it as a detail in
I don't like
certain kinds of drawings and illustrations, but it didn't feel
All right.
necessary.
I just
there. No, it is.
Yep.
All right, you're stupid.
Yep.
We see Duke and Falcon. They're continuing to go at it. Falcon says he's an officer and pulling rank, which makes no sense, right?
Well, I have information on that.
I mean, Lieutenant Falcon. Okay.
He is an officer. A lieutenant is the lowest officer rank.
Uh-huh. But he can't pull rank on Duke, who would be a higher officer.
He's not. Duke
What?
is not an officer. Duke is a sergeant.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
I thought Duke was an officer for sure.
No, that's why he says I'm pulling rank. Because
Okay.
Falcon's an officer and Duke isn't.
So is it okay for Duke to be yelling at him to begin with?
Pretty
in terms
much. He
of,
says you're close to insubordination, but he's more like insudomination. like, because Duke does not outrank him.
Right.
But it is weird because there are like no captains, majors, or colonels in this show. We skip straight from lieutenant, which is Falcon, to brigadier general, which is Hawk.
So Falcon is higher ranked, but he's also a new recruit that
Yeah.
has to go through Joe training. And wow, okay.
Yep. I mean, he's a bad officer.
And I guess then is the accusation of insubordination just not necessarily being insubordinate to Duke, but being insubordinate, like derelict of duties.
Yeah,
Like-
shooting
Right.
firing a weapon inside a building on security. I don't know. Yeah, I do.
The insubordination line feels weird because it's not. I think insubordination has to be directly verbally contradicting a superior officer, so which he's not doing. But
Yeah, but
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. All right, the fact that he outranks Duke,
yeah,
makes
that blew my mind.
makes my head explode. and the fact that he just says it and pulls that card there,
Mhm.
they actually didn't need to pull that card to advance the story along. But
He's just
Like,
everybody in
maybe
this
it did,
movie is
because-
like coming in hot.
yeah, So-
Yo, Joe.
the scene shifts, and we are following the blonde into the woods. And
Her license plate says Heather, by the way.
oh really?
Yep.
And
More
that
on
is her name.
Yep, and
More on that.
well, I'll just say it now.
Please do.
In my Buzz Dixon commentary, Heather is his daughter's name.
Oh, that's sweet.
I guess.
well, his daughter gets out of the car and takes off her sundress to reveal a nice floral one piece.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting ready to take a little dipsy doodle, and suddenly she's grabbed from behind by
Now-
Dreadnought Thrasher,
This is so weird to me.
and he says to her, "Taking a dip, love."
Yeah. That's an excellent Thrasher, by the
And
way.
at this point, he whips off her wig, revealing herself to be Zarana. I didn't know it was you.
She chucks him in the pond.
That's the weirdest part. Weren't you fuckers waiting for her?
There's a lot weird here. So first of all, was he going to rape her if it wasn't Zarana?
I think that's implied.
Second of all, yeah, it seems like this is an established meetup point.
Mhm.
Everybody should know the gig on what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
It
Maybe
shouldn't be a surprise
If I was
that's who
knowing
that is.
knowing the Dreadnoughts, they probably kept it from him as a practical joke.
They're like, he wants to rape so hard. He's definitely going to try to fuck
Watch
her.
this. Watch
And
this.
she's going to fuck him up.
Yeah, watch this.
So, okay, yeah, lots of stuff. And then also not to mention, why she knows this is a meetup point with her crew. Why does she need to go for a swim right now?
That is really weird. Like,
Well, she never gets in the water. I think she's changing.
No.
She's changing her outfit.
But
but
she's
she's
in
got a
swimsuit.
swimsuit.
Well, originally, I believe if the storyboards I've seen, she did not have a
yes,
swimsuit originally.
I have information on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Um,
go on into that, Ryan.
Well, like, yeah, this was because it's not really a script deviation because it wasn't in the finished script or whatever, but originally to get like Transformers and G.I. Joe both wanted a PG rating, and that was because PG movies had more runs longer in the theater and they played more times during the day. So to get a PG rating, this was originally going to be a quasi topless scene.
So
where you get like
define
side
quasi.
boob.
You get side boob and bottom boob.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
No nip.
No, you don't get a nipple.
No.
And then whenever it was decided that it was going straight to video, they were like, we're not doing all of that.
Okay.
Sort of like the way they took shit out of the re-release for video for Transformers. So Spike says shit.
So they had to do something, so they gave her a bathing suit.
Yeah.
So should I do a G.I. Joe storyboard search?
I mean, it was all over our... Serge brought it to our attention.
I missed it.
But yeah, here they are.
So she was just gonna be naked under the dress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
look at
that's
that-
some
that-
serious underboob.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. I like that that's what they resorted to. They're like, we got this to be PG-13.
I know.
The violence isn't enough. The snake stabbing through Duke's chest
That's
isn't
an
enough.
excellent point.
But got to throw some titty in there.
That is a great point. It's stay tuned for APDC commentary on sex versus violence.
Yes.
Everybody looks to the Autopod Decepticast for their moral compass.
It's just 3 middle-aged white dudes. What more could you ask for?
We've got a history of greatness. you
It's
know?
absolutely.
So Zartan, the rest of the crew, they show up. They commend her work. It's revealed that she had earring cameras that were recording everything this whole time. I wonder if that film looks like tiny little discs.
That's a pretty solid plan, actually. I thought that was fairly clever. A fairly clever reveal.
It is. I mean, it's obvious that Falcon is weak, and they took advantage of that.
He's thinking with the little head.
Yeah.
That's burp. Speaking of little head, from underneath... Thrasher, that funky long dong brain bubble thing emerges, and Nemesis and Pythona show up to pay kudos to the group, and they're going to use the information collected to free Serpentor tonight. So that's the end of this minute, guys. What do you think? And by minute, I mean like 10 minutes.
I'm a bit pissed off.
That's the end of this deca minute.
At the Joes.
Mhm.
Not the Joes, but Falcon. I'm just
Falcon.
like, Falcon's dropping the ball.
He is a piece of garbage.
And I hope he redeems himself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't watched far ahead.
I've not been watching ahead either, Caleb.
really?
I think you're the only
Caleb
one who's
blasted
watching.
through.
Like with Transformers the movie,
The
I've been
tables
keeping...
have turned.
You know more than we do.
So the turntables.
Yeah. I kind of...
Wiki.
Yeah.
As is customary for this program, we have a section called Script Deviations. Ryan,
Yes.
I don't have any script deviations.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you hop right into it?
Well, as I mentioned before, I don't have a full or even barely a partial.
It's possible, though, that Ron Friedman is handing that over to Aaron and Mike
Oh, that would
right
be
now.
amazing.
No, that's not true. First of all, he doesn't know we're looking for it. Second of all, there's no guarantee we'll meet him. Third of all,
I asked them for it in the email.
but
Yeah.
he didn't respond to that request when he replied to you.
True.
You're not getting it. It's the long and the short of it.
Okay, fine.
So basically, I just have what here is the outline for kind of what we just saw, showcasing the new Joes. Maybe Shipwreck has been away and must be introduced to Beavers by Roadblock, which I guess was their name, the Beavers instead of the Roughnecks or whatever, or Recruits.
I'm just bummed that Shipwreck wasn't put back in.
I know.
There was an attempt here by Ron to do so.
Well, we meet and see familiar Joes, leatherneck, wetsuit, etc. Meet the rookie unit, which is completing its training, or in the midst of, or beginning training. We see the bad apple is Lieutenant Hawk, who is unafraid of Roadblock and Gung Ho, who are training the unit. He's disrespectful and comes on with Lady J, and then with Jinx, who rebuffs him. Other Joes in the unit aren't thrilled to see him there. We learn that Hawk is General Hawk's son and is not proud of it.
Falcon is General Hawk's son?
Yes.
Okay, which makes more sense. Birds?
Well, I have a note on that in the next
Okay.
episode. And then here in the outline, he's called Kitty Hawk. Kitty Hawk has always been a bit of a disappointment. Then we see Jinx. There's a note on the side where it says, "See Jinx have bad luck and deal with it."
Is that Ron's handwriting?
Yes.
Oh, he's got good handwriting.
Yeah, it's nice. That's pretty much it for that script deviation. For the Buzz Dixon commentary that is on this edition of the Blu-ray DVD, he wanted to have the new recruits come in and be trained as new Joes to show the process of becoming a Joe. Tried to give them as much personality as he could. And this is a quote. To Joe's credit, even though they are kind of guilty of... Oh, wait, that's not a quote. This is my information. I said to Joe's credit, even though they're kind of guilty of each character being defined by a quirk, they do have distinctive voices and roles, except, like we mentioned earlier, Hawk, Flint, and Duke are kind of all the same guy.
Right. Yeah.
Law was based on Cheech Marin. Chuckles is a Miami Vice character, and then Heather is Zarana, Dixon's daughter's name.
So you would think that Chuckles would have speaking parts, and portrayed by Don Johnson.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting considering Don Johnson, but I don't know, whatever. So
he's like, no, I want that Falcon part.
That makes sense.
He probably had the pick. I looked up the Falcon toy profile. Does not mention anything about being Duke's brother. He's a second-generation Green Beret. His father served with the 10th SFGA Special Forces Group Airborne, which is interesting because in the movie later, and maybe this is saved for next episode, Duke, it becomes clear that they share a mother, not a father.
Right.
But sorry, this isn't really that interesting.
No, it is. No, I
should be cut.
No. I like the file cards, and as a matter of fact,
it blows my mind you would even talk to me.
Threw him right off his game.
Because the girl likes to use like a dream come true, a real life fantasy.
What is that from?
No matter what your friends try to tell, we can maybe fall in love, and we can be together in any kind of weather. It's like that. Every little step I take.
I was trying so hard to have a segue here.
This is all staying in.
So I made a Joe character.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot all about this.
Perfect timing.
And actually found a website where you can enter in information and it'll generate a file card that you can print up.
What is that website?
That website is joecustoms.com. And there is a file card thing, and you can basically go through. And
there's a bunch of categories. You enter a bunch of like stuff, and then it populates the categories. Yeah.
So I did it.
Excellent.
Before that, I was like, it'd be cool if we made up our own Joe characters. So I made one, so I, with your permission, I'd like to introduce him to.
Permission denied.
Okay.
Yeah, nope, we're skipping it. Proceed.
Okay. So my character's name, he's called Hardtack.
That's a great name.
And he is basically, I'll just have to read this for you.
We'll put a picture of this up on both our social media and our webpage.
Yeah, and so it's Hardtack, file name Harold Blandison, primary military specialty infantry, second military specialty musketry. From Reno, Nevada. Hardtack, an avid and some would say delusional Civil War reenactor. Hardtack fully dedicates himself to his role as a Union infantry soldier. Blurring the lines of reality, Hardtack was arrested after taking a reenactment too far. At a reenactment of the Union defeat at Chickamauga, he shocked spectators with a sudden cry of, "Not this time," and led a charge against the rebel agitators, injuring 35 participants and burning his Zaxby's to the ground. G.I. Joe was impressed by Hardtack's patriotism and recruited him for the fight against Cobra.
Honestly, that sounds like somebody they'd go for.
Yeah. Hardtack can fire and reload. This is additional. Then there's another plate for additional information.
Mm-hmm.
Hardtack can fire and reload his muzzleloader in under 20 seconds. A remarkable feat by 19th century standards. He is convinced that the identity behind Cobra Commander's faceplate is Jefferson Davis. The president of the Confederacy. He is actively quoting Scarlett.
Lady.
Yeah. And then I've got a picture of him here. I found a picture of a guy giving a demonstration in a classroom.
Screaming in front of children.
So anyway, that's him. So yeah, we can get this up online. I'll send the file.
Oh, that's great.
But I'm thinking it would be interesting to see you guys create some characters maybe.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And also it would be interesting to see our listeners create some. Maybe
great idea.
Submit them.
Well, let's put out a creativity challenge out to the listeners.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, okay, we can work this out here. So I think a great idea would be if we put out a link to this website, encourage listeners to go out there to that
is
link,
that one more time?
create your own profile.
JoeCustoms.com.
JoeCustoms.com.
Create your own profile. We'll put out a tweet challenge.
Yeah.
Create your profile, retweet that challenge, add a picture of your profile.
Mhm.
We will take those pictures. Should we judge the best or do a random drawing?
I think random.
drawing.
Random drawing.
And we'll at the end, whenever we're done, we can also.
A few minutes later.
Okay, we're back, and I think we've worked out the kinks of this. Caleb,
Podcast magic.
get
Yes.
into it.
All right. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to call it the G My Joe file card challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to put our file card up there as an example with a link to Joe Customs. Listeners can go on Twitter. They can create on Joe Customs, upload it into Twitter, and then tag us.
Mm-hmm.
Or
at us.
at us,
definitely.
yeah. Also, you can tag hashtag GMyJoe, and
like
we'll standardize that when we put the file card up. If it,
Yep.
Mhm.
and we'll get those. And I think by the last episode of our GI Joe miniseries, I think we then will take all those. We'll draw a profile at random, and we'll announce it, and they will get a prize from us.
And we'll obviously retweet each one that we get, and so showcase them throughout this process. And then, like Caleb said, whenever it's all said and done on our final episode, we will randomly choose a winner.
And I think what you are playing for is a collection of Autopod Decepticast swag. So at this point, we will, this lucky winner, will get a poster, the Cup Recruitment poster. We also have some buttons remaining, and another gift, another prize yet to be named of the projects that Ryan and I are working for.
We should come up with a G.I. Joe centric prize.
I think that's a good idea.
That will be in the vein of the poster and the buttons that we already have up on our store, on our website, autopoddecepticast.com/store.
Yeah.
And that'll incentivize those who may already have the APDC
exactly.
swag as well. They'd be like, I don't want more of your fucking buttons.
Your tchotchkes.
Okay, great.
So,
the G My Joe.
G My Joe.
G My Joe.
File card challenge.
File card challenge.
Yes.
Oh my god,
In
this
the books.
is convoluted.
Yep.
Love it. I've got a few voice actors I'd like to cover.
Okay.
If I may be so bold.
Proceed carefully, counselor.
Okay. We start with General Hawk. I'm just going to go into this briefly because we know Ed Gilbert, the voice of General Hawk. We've covered him. We talked about him at TFCon. He is a noted entomologist. He voiced Blitzwing, Thrust, and Superion, as well as Baloo and Tailspin. Mr. Smee in the 80s, Peter Pan and the Pirates. He's passed away.
R.I.P.
And I think he's the only one that we've already covered from our Transformer times. So we move on to Flint, who is voiced by Bill Ratner. This guy had 45 regular season episodes. By the way, Ed Gilbert had 19 episodes. 45 regular season episodes, plus the movie, plus the miniseries. This guy is a storytelling aficionado. He is a 9-time winner of the Moth Story Slams.
Oh.
He does lots of storytelling on NPR as far as voice work, lots of video game work, and big franchises, Grand Theft Auto, Mass Effect. He voiced Flint in episodes of Community, Robot Chicken, and Family Guy. And he's alive.
Nice.
He's still with us.
Yay! He's still alive and kicking.
Let's talk about Beachhead for a second.
Oh, boy.
For 22 episodes, voiced by William Calloway, who has lots of TV, movie, voiceover work. His work dates all the way back to Gomer Pyle. He was on that series, Love American Style. He was on the original, voiced on the, I don't know which character, but the 1972 C-Lab 2020. Annie Hall, Aquaman. He was Bizarro on Super Friends. I feel like everybody's voiced Spider-Man at some point.
It seems
in
that
time
way.
or another, and he is among those people. He was also on that strange, weird, animated The Dukes television
Yeah,
series.
we've mentioned that before.
Inhumanoids, DuckTales, Camp Candy. Do you guys remember that one?
Yep.
That was fun. Did John Candy voice his character on Camp Candy?
I never saw Camp Candy.
Oh, really? You don't
No.
recall it? It was on around the same time as Captain N and those kind of
The Game Master?
Yes.
I watched Captain N. Do you want to talk about that?
It looks like William Calloway retired around 96. That's kind of where his credit ends. He's alive.
Oh, good.
Yay!
We've got next up is Lisa Raggio, Raggio. How would you pronounce that, Caleb?
Raggio. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
The voice of Zarana, 13 episodes of Joe. She's from New York City. Lots of television work, Private Benjamin, Married with Children, voice work, New Adventures of Mighty Mouse, Animaniacs. I thought this is a funny title for a cartoon. Real Monsters.
That's a very popular cartoon.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's great. I highly recommend it.
I
It's
don't
really
recall
good.
it. And The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald. I'm happy to say that she is alive.
Damn.
Good.
Does it seem to you guys that these Joe-specific actors
Are alive?
tend to be with us, while Transformers ones, centric actors are with baby blue-eyed Jesus?
Were these being made at the same time or no?
They were.
They were concurrent. Yeah.
So maybe Transformers got all the the
I do
class
feel
Class
like-
A voice actors, and
I do feel like Transformers got more veteran
Yeah.
voice actors, whereas G.I. Joe was much younger, greener.
Do you
voice
think
actors.
that is a budget factor? Do you think veterans cost more to bring in?
I would think so. I would say your Frank Welkers and your Peter Cullens probably get more per diem than your Ed Smigels.
How about Bill Ratner's?
I don't want to cast any shade.
Or William Calloway's. And maybe that also speaks to the fact that when those guys do voices for the Frank Welkers and the like do voices on G.I. Joe, their roles are pretty limited.
Yeah,
it's
very
like they
small.
just get to come in and
Nemesis
dick around for a
Enforcer.
minute.
Peter, we just need you to grunt for about 20 minutes, and then we're just throwing it in there.
Go jerk off in the bathroom. We'll record it. We'll use it.
oh,
Ugh. I don't know why that seems so
well, I'll never
sacrilegious.
be able to watch Nemesis Enforcer the same way again.
You know what it's time for, guys.
What?
Iconic Joe Mate.
Caleb,
Yes.
you got an iconic Joe-man for this little sequence here?
I should always think of this shit ahead of time.
But
I'm just always grossed out by that thing that comes out of the water and then melts back into the water.
also, by
That's
the
a
way,
weird
that's
shit.
a pond. Like, is that connected to the ocean? How did they get there?
Were they? Have they just been laying under there for like
I
a
know.
long time? Okay, they're going to be here in a
These
minute.
fuckers are everywhere.
They're like stuck in that little thing. If you fart inside that thing, it's going to smell really bad.
It's gonna smell bad anyway. It's a biological creature.
That's true.
That thing probably farts inside itself. And I bet Nemesis Enforcer?
Nemesis Enforcer.
I bet Nemesis
and farter.
No.
I bet he can rip
Bad
some.
joke. Sorry.
I bet he can rip some.
Mhm.
I think Ryan, you want to
It's a bit of a cop out, but all of Beachhead's scenes
Mhm.
are
Oh, yeah.
glorious.
Yeah.
His reactions are like he is on some other level of being an insane person
Yeah.
who wants to murder the people under his charge.
Yeah, I don't think he's trying to train them.
Not at all.
That's my note here as well. I forgot how much of an asshole he is.
Oh man, in the best way possible.
and for little reason.
Yeah, seemingly none.
Well, I think we're wrapping it up then.
Wrap it up
Do
and
you
wrap
have
it
Do
out.
you have an iconic Joe-man?
Same.
I'm copying
Oh, yeah.
Ryan's.
I will just say really quick, up to this point, similar to the Transformers, it just seems like the bad guys are so much more organized and structured,
Mm-hmm.
and the Joes like let people on their base, and there's
As we'll see
like
in
this they're using like the guy that's instructing these new recruits is just like trying to kill them, and it just seems like a hot mess.
Yeah, it's true. The organization is not as good. As we'll see in the next minute, their security is pretty garbage as well.
Yeah.
Which that theme overlays well with how you would talk about the Autobots and the
And
Decepticons
Yeah.
during Transformers the movie as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like communicating from Prime to who was it? Like Jazz and Moose Mace too.
Well, not
It's
to
like-
mention they just let Laserbeak watch all the shit.
Yeah, that's right.
What is? Maybe they are exhibitionists.
Oh, they were like, I can't get off unless somebody's watching
Yeah.
me do my job.
Thank you, everybody, for those who have been supporting us at the APDC store. We still have some Cup Recruitment posters left, as well as some of the pin series, illustrated and designed by Ryan and me, Aaron. And the Cup Recruitment poster, I'm sorry. I don't want to insinuate that I drew the Cup Recruitment poster. That was all Ryan.
Yeah, it's just
But you punched it up. I like your polish
it's
on
good
it.
stuff. I love it.
So we appreciate your patronage. More artwork on the way. Get it now. Supplies limited. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Unless we decide to do reprints.
Yeah, well, probably won't.
Please continue to listen and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and TuneIn. iTunes users, why don't you subscribe? Why don't you leave a review?
Yeah, we haven't got one in a while.
We haven't.
No.
Shout out to David Cabal.
Yeah,
He's got the last one out there.
that's right.
Who's going to unseat?
What, 8 months ago?
Who's going to unseat Dave? Yeah, probably. I want to say
Been a
like
while.
August.
Please, new listeners. We've gotten a bunch of new followers, and I'm sure new
Yeah.
listeners. Go give us a 5-star review. It helps us out.
It does.
All those people are listening to the old episodes, so they're
They're
going to
catching up.
They're not going to hear our begging until right now. We need validation. Follow us while you're at it. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of them at Autopod Decast, and our web presence, autopoddecepticast.com, where we've got our shop, our merch, and where we put bonus information
Yeah, it's good
relative to what we talked about during the episode. Ryan, Jet, is anything up there yet?
Not yet.
Do you have a plan for anything to be up there?
Oh, I got some.
The file card challenge.
Candy's Kids. Is that the name of it?
Camp Candy.
Camp Candy Kids.
Kids.
Candy's Kids. Your mother.
God.
Yeah. I'll put up the G.I. Joe.
Oh God, what's happening?
All right.
Usually you're so on the ball with this
This
segment.
fell apart.
Bye. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.
This was a terrible episode.
No, don't say that.
There's an episode of Transformers where you see that.
Cybertron!
This is one Christmas you're not gonna miss, cause I'm gonna get you the Kodak Disc. I'm gonna get you the Kodak Disc, so you can take pictures as easy as this. Look at all the shots you're not gonna miss when I get you the Kodak Disc. The Kodak Disc camera loads in a snap, advances automatically, and has a built-in flash. Nothing's easier, nothing's more fun. That's why you're gonna get it. You'll remember Christmas just like this when I get you the Kodak Disc.
Blow cells, where we sell good.